How bad is Julius Randle's injury? Now to preface, I am not a doctor, I'm not a medical student. However, I have dislocated my shoulder 3 times and had to get surgery because of it, so I do know a little bit about the topic. Similarly to Randle, I dislocated my shoulder trying to brace my fall. I landed right on my left elbow. That caused my left shoulder to pop forward. And Randle similarly, instead with his right side, landed on his right hand, and that caused his right shoulder to pop forward and dislocate. Now, there are multiple concerns when you dislocate your shoulder. The first one being, was there any bone damage? There could be possible fractures, possible breakage, maybe some bone fragments floating around the shoulder. Now, based on the x-rays that were given and released, it looked to be that Randle's shoulder, based on the x-ray, looked fine. Maybe some inflammation here and there, but nothing too serious. However, the real main concern is if he tore any ligaments, his labrum, or his rotator cuff. When you dislocate your shoulder, you tend to tear what is called your labrum. And your labrum basically holds your shoulder entirely together. It holds the shoulder into the socket, preventing it from popping out basically. And so when you dislocate your shoulder, you tear your labrum because you basically popped it out. And so because of that, now you're at risk of possibly dislocating your shoulder again in the future, it not being fully stabilized. Many concerns when you tear your labrum. Now, there are ways where you could fix and temporarily fix the issues that come when you dislocate your shoulder. One of them being is obviously physical therapy and rehab. You could strengthen the muscles around your shoulder, like your rotator cuff or other shoulder muscles, to stabilize it to the best of its ability to prevent it from dislocating or even causing more injuries, anything like that. However, your shoulder is never going to be 100% until you get your surgery. The surgery that is typically associated with this type of injury is called a Bankart surgery. And the Bankart surgery basically sutures your arm or your shoulder specifically all together, kind of replacing what the labrum was really doing. And that's a surgery that I got that basically fixed all the issues that I had with my shoulder dislocations. I did the rehab, I did the therapy. It worked pretty well for a few months until I dislocated my shoulder again by still doing sport activities and being aggressive with my workouts and whatnot. And so because of that, I ended up getting the surgery, getting the Bankart surgery in specific, and now my shoulder feels great. Now, to be fair here, Randle, I'm not Randle, right? Randle's a beast. He's huge, he's strong, he's muscular. He may be better off than me by doing some therapy and strengthening all his muscles. He may be stronger than me. However, there is still that risk of dislocating your shoulder again and possibly causing more damage. So that is still a concern for Randle. Now, thankfully, based on the reports being received where Randle could be possibly back within a month or so, that means that the injury might not be as bad, and that's what the doctors are advising him to do, to probably test the therapy out, test the rehab out, see how strong he can get his shoulder before he gets into action, and see if there's no risk of him possibly re-injuring it again. Because if he does get the surgery, he's out for at least 6 months, which means he's out for the rest of the season. So they do want to avoid that, see and find other ways where Randle could get back on the court. But don't be surprised if Randle decides to get his surgery in the offseason. I mean, we saw with Ja ended up getting his surgery in the middle of the season when he saw the Grizzlies season was not really salvageable. He's like, screw this, I'll get the surgery, because he knows that labrum tear is a serious issue with your shoulder. Shoulder problems are a huge issue in the NBA. You want to get it fixed as soon as possible, which is why Ja decided to do it as soon as possible. And Randle, because of how the Knicks are going and how well they're playing, he wants to be there for his team. So credit to Randle. He's being a dog out there, being physical, trying his best to get to the court as soon as possible.